Good evening everyone and welcome to Season 5 Round 1 here for the season opener at the Sakhir International Circuit in the beautiful country of Bahrain. Good evening everyone, I'm James Head14. Very thrilled to be doing this as a solo commentator. Yes, Kieran McGinley no longer with us in TTL F2. You'll be seeing him on TTL F1 and he is unavailable. Is talk to you more about the track of Bahrain, of course. Founded in 2004, the first Grand Prix held there. Pedro de la Rosa, fastest lap so far in the race, with a 1:31.447. That was set in 2005. So hopefully we're going to be getting some really good action here out on track tonight. We have got 17 drivers, very familiar names to the TTL F2 paddock at least. Some may not be, because there's a few new additions to the lineup. Let me run you through the lineup then for tonight. So, the cars that have been signed up. So in the carling, we have got Siege and George. Both are here tonight, which is good to see. We've also, George is not here actually. My mistake, George is not here. In the, right, hang on a minute. I'm just going to run it through from the, right, so in the art, we've got Honey Badger and Andy. Good to see him out on track tonight, the Scotsman. In Sauber Junior, the Cheroux team, they've been renamed for this season. We've got Old Man Barry and Maximus. Old Man Barry, a brand new name to the lineup. Very thrilled that he can join us here tonight. In the Campos, we've got Grizzly Bear and Sean. Grizzly Bear, another new name to the TTL F2 paddock. As I said, Siege and George due to be in the carling. Prima, we've got S. Graham, and we should also have alongside him Crazy Legs, but Crazy Legs is not here tonight. So that is going to be him down on that. We've also got in the other... Lyronix is not here tonight, having hand surgery apparently. So hopefully we're going to be wishing him well, the German. Also coming in tonight, the Dams, Flying Cooper and Spike, going to be racing in that. Maze and Alan Kay from last season have changed from Dams to respective cars. So we've got Alan Kay in a Trident, and we've got Maze in the Univitosi Racing, formerly known of course as Russian Time. And they're going to be joining retrospectively. Maze is going to be joining the Gort, and Alan Kay should be alongside Athry Frisch, who I do believe is at the bottom somewhere. There he is, Athry right down the bottom there. So we should be getting going very shortly, as I've said. I think I've covered everyone. Navy and Henny are the only two I haven't covered. So Navy in the MP Motorsport as well as Jeffrey. So very glad to see everyone here tonight. And as I said, good attendance here. 17 people, 17 racers about to do battle around the streets of, around the circuit of Sakhir, the international circuit of course. And I'm thrilled to be bringing you the action. And just to give you a bit of terminology about this track, there are 3 DRS zones on this track. Yes, 3 DRS zones. And we have got one-shot qualifying and the 50% feature race up first. And then, of course, we have got a 50% sprint race to go with that as well. Hopefully, everything going well with the stream. I know I'm on a red bar connection. Hopefully, that is not due to the fact that I am doing nothing with my connection. It might just be this new software update that has came. Lyronic saying thank you for the well wishes. Hopefully, he will be recovering very, very soon indeed. And he is supporting from the hospital bed tonight. It's not really great to be in hospital. You should be with us here in your spiritual home of TTL F2 here tonight in Sakhir for the season opener. Season 5, Round 1, as I've said. I can hear a voice in the background, so I can presume I've got game sound, which is good to see. Obviously, a few changes that I'll come on to during the race, and sprint races now have different point system. Of course, I'm the admin now for TTL F2, and those changes have been brought about. Just makes things a little bit more interesting, I think. You should see this condensed up as we are about to ride on board then with Navy for the first lap of TTL F2 Season 5 Round 1. And he's coming up now down towards Turn 1, which of course is a very tricky right-hander, and then through the little chicane of turns 2 and 3, runs very wide there, Navy, and there is a lot of lag actually going on, so I do apologise about this. Hopefully it is my connection that should have fixed things now. So Navy on the run up towards turn 4, up the second DRS zone. Now coming through the end of the first sector. Spike just ahead of him out on track. Siege and Afri Fresh right up there as well. 31.5 for Navy through the first sector. The Dutchman going very nicely early on, as we now come through the S section of 5, 6 and 7 and then into the right-hander of turn 8. Pretty much now, nearly halfway through the middle sector already. And then the kink at turn 9. Alan Kay is already out the session, so he'll be starting from the back. Through turn 10, there's a very tricky left-hander, one of the trickiest corners on the track. There might have been a slight invalidation there for Navy, but he's now on the main straight, the main back straight, between turns 10 and 11, of course, opening up that DRS once again. Currently sitting in 4th, Afri, Siege and Spike have now just gone ahead of him. So Navy now coming through turn 11, near towards the end of the middle sector here, now through turn 12. Taking as wide exit as possible. You don't want to be catching on the curb there because you can spin the car. 115 flat through the middle for Navy. Looking very nice, I've got to say, through turn 13. Now in the race, now on the run down another straight towards turns 14 and 15. The final 2 corners here out on track. Spike, Afri, Siege and Navy. Looks like between these 4, to be honest. Honey Badger just coming up as well. Who's going to be on pole position? Navy's on the run up to the line though. Opens up that DRS towards the line. Very, very close indeed. Top 5 within the 139s, and there's Spike who takes it with the 139.315 out there, and we'll give you the full rundown of the order very, very shortly indeed here at Sakhir in the beautiful country of Bahrain. So full rundown of qualifying then. Spike takes qualifying by 0.3 of a second from Afri in 2nd. Siege in 3rd with Navy in 4th with his compadre Honey Badger in 5th. Siege in 6th, Sean in 6th with Taze Leroy, another debutant here in 7th. Flying Cooper, another debutant in 8th, with Jeffrey in 9th and Mays in 10th. S. Graham in 11th, with Gort in 12th. Maximus and Ulman Barry filling out that 7th row, both in the Sauber Junior cars. Andy in 15th, Grizzly Bear in 16th, struggling a little bit, and Alan Kay, the only one not to set a time. And the top 7 separated by less than 0.8 of a second in that one-shot qualifying session. And of course, you do have to make a mandatory pit stop here in the feature race. I may just remind you that, because if you don't, you'll get disqualified. It's as simple as that. But we should be getting going very shortly indeed. 17 drivers about to do battle here around Sakhir International Circuit. Of course, if you are tuning in for the first time to TTL F2 and don't recognise my voice, you should be by now. I'm Dimsed14, your solo commentator here tonight. Going to be taking you through the feature race and indeed the sprint race here for TTL F2 at Season 5, Round 1. So it is the season opener of the brand new season here in TTL F2. Looking through the comments section, see what you guys have been interacting with. Obviously, I do like a lot of interaction in the comments section. Nothing towards, but if you have got any support for the drivers, or if you do want to wish anybody well here tonight, best thing to do is put it in the YouTube comments and I'll try and read them out as we go along. But we should be getting going for the formation lap here. 16 laps of the track here. It's a very, very hard feature race, if I've got to be honest. And of course, free choice of tyres as opposed to the normal F1 cars. There's a free choice of tyres here. It's either between the softs or the mediums. So pretty much down the middle, really, of who is on what strategy. So we've got, starting from the softs, we've got Afri, Siege, Sean, Taze Leroy, Flying Cooper, Maze, S. Graham, Gort and Andy. They're all on the soft compound tyres, so the red wall compound tyres, which are seen on board with Afri now in that Trident, and the rest of the field on the medium, so that's Spike, Navy, Honey Badger, Jeffrey, Maximus, Ulman Barry, Grizzly Bear and Alan Kay. So 9 and 8 pretty much halfway through. Of course, you can't have 8.5 on one and 8.5 on the other. And just to talk you through about the tyres, soft compound of tyres are quicker than the medium compound of tyres, but the mediums are more durable. And I think that's what you could be needing, especially with it being a mandatory pit stop race. Of course, trying to make pit stops around here. Very long pit lane. I think it's about 4 seconds more average compared to a normal F1 pit stop, and you do only get 6 pit crew members as opposed to 10 or 12 as you do in Formula 1. But we should be getting going very shortly indeed. We're coming towards the end of the formation lap here. If you are new to tuning in, good evening, and thank you very much for tuning in to TTL F2. And it is Spike who will be starting on pole position on a set of medium compound of tyres, as I've already alluded to. these competitive tyres will last longer into the race, but it is all about management of the tyres, especially on the soft competitive tyres. After we could get him on the run down towards turn 1, I dare not make a prediction. It's the first week of racing. I'm not making a prediction here tonight for a top 3 or anything like that, because honestly, we don't know what level the drivers are really at in terms of the first race of the season, but we should be getting going very shortly indeed. Spike just pulling up towards his position marker there. Got Siege and the rest now coming through. There are a few niggly changes, few livery changes here tonight. Of course, more importantly, the Campos team now running in the yellow as opposed to the orange, I do believe. Hang on a minute, I've got that wrong, haven't I? MP Motorsport have changed to an orange colour instead of like a reddy colour, and I'm just looking through by mistake. There we go. But we should be getting going. 16 laps here of the Season 5 Round 1 opener in TTL F2. Lights out and away we go. Good start by Spike. Gets the run from Afri down towards turn 1. Afri now comes into the slipstream. He's just in behind looking to try and go around the outside. A little bit of contact further down the field. Maximus dropping down a few positions. Spike 3 wide into turn 1. Goodness me. Afri is going to have the outside line. Not quite. Honey Badger and Navy getting quite close in their background as well. Afri just running off track. It's side by side now on the run up towards turn 5. Spike and Afri now through the right-hander towards the end of the first sector, and it's Spike, I think, that's just going to come out on top. Afri now on the inside line, and it's got the move done, so Afri now into the lead. Spike in second, Siege in third. Very good start from everyone. I've got to say, Siege has lost it out. I'm not sure if there was contact there with Honey Badger. That's just caused a bit of a Constantino effect further down the field. Flying Cooper losing a little bit of time, and there's a bit of desync going on there between Flying Cooper and I think that might be Navy, possibly. It's not Navy, it's Sean in the orange Campos car. Grizzly Bear as well, making up positions early on. Mays, Old Man Barry, Jeffrey further down the field, but Afri has got the break in the meantime. The soft compound of tyre runner, the fastest soft runner so far, the German, has got the break. Spike in second, Honey Badger in third, with Navy in fourth, Flying Cooper and Taze Leroy pretty much now going side by side, coming up towards turn 12, which is this right-hander here. Of course, don't get caught on the curb there, you'll go flying out of the race pretty much. And again, a bit of a desync, that's not what you like to see. Flying Cooper clearly having a few connection issues possibly there, so hopefully we can get that fixed for next race. Grizzly Bear, I think, has lost it. Oh, he's lost it out of, that is turn 13. So Grizzly Bear's lost out of turn 13. He has spun, he's got front wing damage as well, but at the end of lap 1, Afri leads the way. The German doing the business so far. 6/10 of a second from Honey Badger in from Spike in second, Honey Badger in third, Navy in fourth, and Taze Leroy filling out the top 5. Flying Cooper again, trying to eye up and move on short. I do apologise if it does get a little bit sexual between these two. It is not the game or anything, it's just a pure desync that is going on between these two. In the meantime, Jeffrey all the way around the outside of S. Graham as well, all the way around the outside of Old Man Barry. So Old Man Barry has lost 2 positions early on with S. Graham and Jeffrey getting past retrospectively, so very nice moves there. And I think the Gort is diving down the inside now of Old Man Barry as well and gets the move done. Bit of banging wheels, but nice and clean nonetheless. So the Gort now up to 11th place, another new runner here in TTL F2 this season, against Old Man Barry there, who of course is not new. He appeared last season, of course, in season 4. Andy in behind. Oh, as Old Man Barry loses it, just applied a bit too much power coming out of turn 7 or 8, I think that was. I think it was turn 8, and Old Man Barry has spun himself pretty much out of contention of any sort of points, but the pit stops can all change things, of course. Flying Cooper right in the back of Taze Leroy. The Irishman will defend the inside on, and that Arden as I think that is Sean once again trying to get past, but Afri leads still, 9/10 of a second. Spike in second, Honey Badger in third, Nevy in fourth, with, I think that's Sean now trying to go up the inside of Flying Cooper, and again, apologies, we'll just breeze over that a little bit. Nevy's coming back to Leroy. Has he got front wing damage anywhere on the car? No, this looks a little bit slower. I think Taze Leroy, of course, on a soft compound of tyre, compared to Navy on the mediums, beginning to close in. So the softs clearly running better at this stage compared to the mediums. But the mediums, of course, will come in towards the end of the race. It's lap 3, and it's Afri who leads from Spike in second. That gap has just extended slightly, 8/10 of a second. Honey Badger in third has pulled away from Navy in fourth, with Taze Leroy in fifth. Flying Cooper and Sean having a bit of a... I can't describe what's happening there. In the meantime, Andy is trying to go past Siege. Siege defending the inside line there, inside line there in the Carling. as Andy and Maximus go side by side out of turn 3 and 4, now on the run up towards turn 5. And I do apologise, it's turn 4 I should say, I'm getting my corners mixed up a little bit. Maximus though, trying to get Andy. Andy is past him I think, so he's up to P12. Out of position changes, that's the wrong same, as we got battling further up the field, Navy and Taze Leroy, so Navy is now through on Taze Leroy trying to get past Navy here, trying to get the position changes. Oh, that is a bit of a reckless move down the inside, has got to give that position back, and I think a little bit of an aggressive move there, and there's a bit of desync going on between Flying Cooper and Sean as well. It's not going to add pain to the pressure. We're going board as Sean tries to get past Navy down the inside. Taze Leroy clearly edging to the inside there. Can see Flying Cooper on his screen, but I think Flying Cooper can't see Sean on his screen, so that's probably why the desync is occurring here tonight. And once again, Flying Cooper and Sean have a bit of a coming together, let's just admit that. But Navy trying to defend off the attentions of Sean and Flying Cooper. Taze Leroy now down to 7th after a bit of a dive bomb move down into turn 10. Again, just got to watch out his braking zone. In the meantime, Siege is getting past S. Graham. They're going side by side into the final 2 corners now, and Siege has got the inside line and gets past S. Graham. So Siege now into P10, and Maximus also has passed Andy somewhere out on track. So Maximus up to P12 and is ahead of Andy in P13, and Jeffrey trying to close down, as that was a 10th of a second briefly there. There's a lot of going on in behind as Honey Badger. Sorry, Navy has just went around the outside of Flying Cooper and John, trying to defend the position. Now Taze Leroy trying to come out of the slipstream. All action trying to unfold out on track. I'm trying to give you as much as possible. Navy though, still hanging on for 4th place. Flying Cooper, Sean, Taze Leroy. Maze might be closing in and behind as well. Don't count Maze out, especially if there's a lot of desyncing going on. Taze Leroy now decides to dive it down the inside. I think he senses that Flying Cooper has got desync. That's a beautiful double move, he can pull it off. But again, a bit of a desync move coming off there. A lot of desync happening, and Taze Leroy dives it down again the inside of Sean. Bit of a reckless dive bomb again there, possibly. Might just need forwarding towards the stewards, of course, and Maze. And Taze Leroy very not happy with that. But Maze is now trying to get past Sean. So, Sean, of course, in the Campos against the Universality racing car of Maze. And, of course, if you're not familiar with the team, Universality is, of course, formerly known as Russian Time. Russian Time, of course, changing their name in the back of the 2018 season and instead 2019. The GOAT now chasing down Maze in the meantime. We'll go on board with a battle for the lead as well, as Afri is now getting closed down by Spike. Beautiful camera shot coming on board, and now Spike goes down the inside of the German, so Spike should have the move done. He'll try and cut him off. Medium's starting to come into it now, lap 5 out of 16. First pit stop being made by Maze. So Maze is into the pits, of course, you have to make a mandatory pit stop. Siege is in as well. So Maze and Siege are the first to come into the pits. Siege and Afri trying to get past down the inside, not quite. Everyone has just spread itself out a little bit in behind. Sean has dropped off on Taze Leroy. Seems like the softs might be just beginning to get going. But Siege and Maze certainly into the pits. They're going to be going into a medium set of tyres, so they're going to be on to the end of the race. S-Graham trying to close down Maximus in the meantime. This is for the remaining points out on track, 9th and 10th. And we'll go back on board actually with the battle for the lead, if I can find the battle for the lead. There we go. Spike and Afri, 2/10 of a second separating. The Germans still trying to hunt down now the Brit. So Spike trying to defend off the position here. With Afri, closing them down. Oh, I thought he was going to launch it down the inside there. Jeffrey is retired out of the race, so Jeffrey is out of the race. Not sure if that was done in the pits or if that was out on track. I'll just pause it. Yeah, yellow flag in sector 3. Is it through here? No. It's not through turn 11. Or turn 12 even. Through turn 13. Now on the run down towards turn 14 and 15. I think there should be a DRS zone here, personally. Much better than having it up the hill in towards turn 4. Afri though, trying to chase down Spike. Of course, these guys do have to pit. Spike and Afri. Honey Badger looking good though in 3rd, has closed the gap remarkably, and Afri is in. So Afri comes into the pit. Soft compound of size not lasting that long, and he gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. Unless he makes another pit stop, that will be added on to the time at the end of the race. So that now frees up Honey Badger into 2nd place, and we've got a lot of pit stops now happening in behind, mainly for the soft runners, Sean's still continuing out, but we've got Flying Cooper, Taze Leroy, Gort, S. Graham all in from a set soft compound of tyres. We should be seeing Andy come in as well shortly. Siege trying to get past Maze in the meantime. They're about to go side by side. These two, of course, have already been into the pits, and Siege with a better run off turn 13 should get the move done. Down into the inside of turn 14 and should have the move covered, and Siege has got that move done on Maze, and that's for 14th position currently, but I highly doubt that'll be 14th place come the end of the race. These two, of course, making ground as Flying Cooper, Taze Leroy, the Gort, all out of the pits now, and these guys are going side by side. In fact, Maze and Siege down into turn 1, and Maze has repaid the favour down the inside possibly. Siege still on his inside line, on the inside line into turn 2, still side by side racing, giving each other plenty of respect, which is good to see. And I think Siege might just have this covered. He's got the DRS open and he just about has it covered, so Siege stays in 12th position now as S. Graham has came up behind them, so both of them have gained a place respectively. Lap 6 out of 16, Spike leads the way, Honey Badger in second, Navy in third with Sean in fourth, Maximus in fifth, Allman Barry in sixth and Alan Kay in seventh. Those 7 still yet to pit, as Alan Kay has now been overtaken by Afri down the straight. I think that was pure case possibly of team orders there. Yeah, both in the Trident, so Alan Kay not messing about, lets Afri the quicker driver through, so the German now into P7. Alan Kay thinking about his own race and possible points in P8 as Taze Leroy now tries to close down Flying Cooper. 6/10 of a second. Hopefully everyone enjoying the race so far. We are on to lap 7. Sean finally decides to come into the pits. The softs not lasting that long. Mediums I think will last around 10-11 laps around here. Of course these medium guys do have to come in for another pit stop, for the mandatory set of the mandatory pit stop, as I've said. Hopefully, as I say, everyone enjoying the action so far out on track. Spike leads the way. Navy now second, as Honey Badger has lost it out on track somewhere. I'm not sure where Honey Badger has lost this, but Honey Badger, I was paying hardly any attention to that at all, I'm afraid. So Honey Badger is now down to P3. We weren't on board with that either, so I'm not sure what has occurred there between those two. I think Honey Badger might have spun it through turn 1, maybe? Or turn 2? Possibly. I'm just thinking of theoretical things that could happen. The Gort trying to chase down Sean. Sean is just fresh out the pits. Gort now down the inside, and the Gort should be up to P10 here, so nice stuff indeed. And the Gort is through on Sean, and look at Siege and behind as well, and Siege is surely not going to think around the outside here at turn 5. Brilliant move. Siege just pulled that off absolutely brilliantly around the outside. Sean on much colder tyres, having no chance against the Gort and Siege there, and they're through into P10 and P11 respectively. And Siege really hunting down Gort for P10 here. Fire coming out the back of the car there. Of course, that is not the engine combustion or anything like that. That's just how these cars are made. As the Gort now begins to get closed down once again from Siege. Siege defending onto the inside line now, going onto the from the outside line onto the inside line now. Trying to think about the move here, not quite. I think he's just going to try. He might try and switch back here into turn 12, and that's exactly what he's thinking about. Trying to prioritise that inside run, but not quite once again. This is the closest battle out on track, of course, here tonight. And, of course, top 10 do score points. Fastest lap also gets a point, which Afri has just set. The 1:42 there. So Afri has set the fastest lap, and that gets a point. And for the feature race, full F1 point scoring system, so 25, 18, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. And Siege is now about to get past Gort. As soon as I've said that, Siege is about to get past Gort for that final point scoring position out on track. I will come on to the sprint race point system in a bit, because the top 8 are reversed, of course, and the point system, I've changed it up a little bit, so just makes it a little bit more interesting out on track. So if you see the top 8 as Afri has gone past Allman Barry down into turn 8, that is. Nice move there by Afri, not hanging about the German. He's currently in the net lead of the race with Spike 10.3 seconds ahead on Navy. As Grizzly Bear has got a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. So he is in for a second stop out on track. Let's see what we can go on board with then. Sean closing in on Gort. Bit of a three-way battle going on, Siege and Gort. Siege recently passed Gort, of course, for that final point scoring position. And Spike has just had a new fastest lap of the race, 42.3. And that's on 8 laps it lapped all the tyres. Goodness knows what you can think about that. I think that was S. Graham just running wide in the background. It was. Spied somebody going round in the background there. And that was S. Graham, of course. As Honey Badger begins to close in on Navy down into turn 1. Not quite happening. We'll go back on board then. With, as Alan Kay losing control there, possibly. Or is he letting everyone through? Thinking about his own race, possibly? I'm not sure. Alan Kay's been overtaken by Flying Cooper in the meantime. Taze Leroy runs into the back of Alan Kay. Is Alan going to come into the pits, I wonder? No, not yet. Taze Leroy trying to prioritise the run once again down into turn 1. Flying Cooper ahead out on track. So Taze Leroy now in the slipstream, not getting any closer, of course. DRS enabled for both drivers ahead. And Alan Kay doing the business and trying to defend off Taze Leroy, who sends it all the way around the outside of turn 2. That is a fantastic move. Regardless of the tyre situation, Alan Kay trying to switch back on the inside. No way he's coming back off that, I'm afraid. Taze Leroy is through, and he's up to P8. Nice move there by the Irishman on his fellow countryman. Alan Kay now down to 9th position. Of course, he's still got a pit, as is Spike, Honey Badger, Navy, Maximus and Old Man Barry. They've all still got a pit, of course. We are more than halfway through. This is TTL F2, the Season 5 opener, round 1, here at the Sakia International Circuit. That's Spike who leads the way from Honey Badger in 2nd, Navy in 3rd, Maximus in 4th. Those positions are going to change though. They still haven't been into the pits. And everything has just spread itself out nicely a bit, so we'll go on board with the battle for 2nd as Navy tries to hunt down Honey Badger once again. And they're still not pitting as we go on to lap 10. Afri is the first ones of the guys to have came into the pit, so he's already served his mandatory pit stop. Old Man Barry still gets to come into the pit, so that means Flying Cooper, Taze Leroy possibly eyeing themselves up in net P2 and net P3 positions at this stage. Alan Kay is still yet to come into the pit as well. Siege down in 10th, final point scoring position for him. Galt and Sean 11th and 12th, with Mays in 13th. Afri has just set the new fastest lap of the race, the 1:42.1, as Old Man Barry has came into the pit. So Old Man Barry is into the pit lane. Of course, pit crew, only 7 pit crew here tonight, not as opposed to the F1, getting the cars ready now. Bit of an average 4-second slower pit stop round here at Sakia. I was going to say Baku for a minute there. Old Man Barry is on for a set of soft compound of tyres, so they will last him easily towards the end of the race. Let's ride on board then with the battle for 2nd, and let's go on board with the position changes. 9 position changes for Maximus, 9 gain for Alan Kay as well, 3 gain for Honey Badger, with 2 gain respectively Flying Cooper and Ghost. They're still yet to come. They've already made their pit stops, them too. And 1 position gain for Navy, so he has gained 1 position as well. Out of the losses, Sean has lost 5 positions, Siege has lost 6 positions, but that's going to all change because these guys, of course, still yet to come into the pits. Navy just struggling there through turn 13, not getting as best of a run out as possible compared to what he could have. He's trying to close down Honey Badger. I think Honey Badger might just have the edge over him at this moment in time, and Navy losing the tyres. I think he's going to try and come in. Yeah, he's going to come into the pits. Not surprised in that. So Navy is into the pit. In the meantime, we've got action going on further down the field. The Siege is through on Alan Kay, and Sean is also through on the Goat. So Sean is through up to P10, Siege up to P8, respectively. Looking nice so far out on track. All of these guys. Plenty full of yellow compound of tyres going on there. Navy and Maximus are into the pit, so they're serving up their mandatory pit stops now. Alan Kay still yet to make that mandatory pit stop. I think it might be outside the points, but of course, top 8 get reversed. You know, anything can happen in the sprint race. And it will make the championship a lot more interesting, and there's a lot more points on offer, which means we expect to see a lot more drivers finishing out on track. And there's still 16 going here out on track as Flying Cooper is trying to close down Navy, who's just out of the pits on a set of soft compound of tyres, but Navy has mastered that nicely, and he's out on soft compound of tyres just ahead of Flying Cooper, who's now going to go side by side down towards turn 4. Flying Cooper on the inside line in the dams. Navy going all the way around the outside once again, trying to defend the position nicely. Should have the run-off, and Navy's got the run-off indeed. So he keeps the position in that MP Motorsport. Flying Cooper in the dams, having to settle still for 5th position. But that is for net P3 out on track. After dominating, there's about 14 seconds ahead of Navy in terms of theoretical positions. Flying Cooper now might just fight the losing battle here, to be honest. Navy's on a quicker set of tyres as Grizzly Bear is out of the race. So Grizzly Bear's retired out the race. The Spike is into the pits. So Spike into the pits from the lead of the race. Lap 12 out of 16. We should be seeing Honey Badger coming in, and indeed he is. So Honey Badger is into the pits as well. Only waiting for Alan Kay, who's just been overtaken by the Gort and Sean, and they're going side by side now down the straight in towards turn 11. So the Gort is now through once again on Sean. So Gort up to P8, Sean into P9, Alan Kay currently P10. They're scoring 4, 2 and 1 retrospectively in terms of the points. So Sean tries to chase down again the Gort, trying to go for the move. Not quite going to be there. A lag going on there between those two. Siege has got the move done on Taze Leroy. Taze Leroy must have had a poor run out of turn 13 there, so Siege is now through and he's up to P6. He's on fresher tyres, slightly fresher tyres, but it's going to be close. And Spike has nearly came out ahead of Afri Frisch. So 0.7 of a second between Frisch and Spike. This is going to be really interesting, this. So Afri, 6 of a second. Alan Kay now coming into the pit. So everyone will serve their mandatory pit stop, which is good. You don't have to make a mandatory pit stop, of course, in the sprint race. Spike, 0.5 of a second behind Afri. The battle for the lead commencing. We'll focus on this for now. There are other battles going on further down the field. I'll try and update that as much as possible. 5 laps to go. Afri leads, but it's a reduced margin. 0.4 of a second. Spike has really gained on him from pitting in. He's now 0.4 of a second behind him and now opens up the DRS. He should be trying to follow, I think, Afri in terms of the slipstream, trying to prioritise and get a best run as possible coming through up the slight hill into turn 12 and then through the right hand of turn 13 at the end of the middle sector. Current fastest lap of the race is set by Afri with a 1:42.1. Plenty of drivers in the 1:42, so anybody's guess for who's getting the extra point here out on track. And Spike closes in once again on Afri, 0.2 of a second. This is the battle we wanted to see pretty much from the race start. It's Afri against Spike. Apologise about the black box there coming up. 1 position gain for Spike, 1 position loss for Spike, 1 position gain for Afri. Is that now going to be role reversed? Because Spike currently from pole position is now getting past Afri down the outside line. Afri not going to fight that, so Spike is now through and he's up to P1. 25 points might be coming his way. Navy sets the new fastest lap of the race with a 1:41.5. I said the fastest lap is anybody's guess. Alan Kay has also came out behind Andy, so they're going to be fighting it out back in P14 and 15. Afri completely outbraking himself there into turn 4. I take a nice lovely drink there. So with 4 laps to go, 3.5 if you're being picky. Spike leads the way, 9.5 tenths, now out to a second, and that means Afri's mistake has really cost him a chance of winning this race, and I think it's now going to be going all one way, to be honest, with Spike leading the way by 1.2 seconds out on track. Honey Badger in third, 10.5 seconds down. He will try and close in Afri towards the end of this race. I don't think it's going to be enough though, with Navy in fourth, Flying Cooper in fifth, Siege in sixth, Taze Leroy still hunting him down in 7th, with Sean in 8th, Gort in 9th, and Mays currently filling out the top 10, with Maximus just in behind, as that was the Gort. Trying to seize, I think, down the inside of Sean there. I'm not sure if he was going for the move, to be honest. He didn't look close enough. That might just be my imagination coming off there. Maximus, 8 tenths off Mays, so this is going to be an interesting battle. Soft runners, of course, will be better off towards the end of the race compared to the medium runners who've been on these sets of tyres for about 8 or 9 laps, in some cases 6 or 7. So Maximus now trying to close in 5.5 tenths back gap. The Spike sets the new fastest lap of the race, a 1:40.4, pretty much nearly beating my time trial time, which is not that great. And you can probably judge for yourself how good of a driver I actually am on this game. But Maximus closing in on Mays. Down towards turn 14, there is S. Graham just like a bit in the background, but Maximus now closing in on Mays, 7.5 tenths. Everyone else has spread themselves out nicely, to be honest. Not spread out like a washing line, but Spike has got the lead of the race. 3 laps to go. Spike leads as there's a battle going on further down the road, and that is Gort trying to get past Sean. They've gone side by side nearly for a minute there. Sean defending off Gort, of course. Don't take the colours on the left hand side of your screen for real. They are different colours. The Gort The Gort in the Universality car, Sean in the Campos. So remember that, Universality, formerly Russian time, Sean in the Campos. So remember that if you are one of those colour coordinated freaks that love to like getting their colours mixed up there. But I can assure you, they're definitely not yellow. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm trying to get across. They're definitely not yellow on that left-hand side. But Maximus trying to close in then on Maze. This is for P10 and P11. So this is for the final point scoring position. Maximus trying to eye up Maze for a move here. Gort is trying to close in on Sean as well, further behind. Taze Leroy is just coming back to these as Maximus now tries to size up the opportunity down into turn 11. Not quite going to go for the move there. Maze just going wide and onto the marble slightly, with Maximus just not prioritising this run, a little bit hesitant going into the entrance of turn 11, now into turn 13. At the end of the middle sector, he's about 5 seconds down in his personal best. The floodlights lighting up the skies here in Sakia, and on to the final 2 laps with the leaders. Spike and Afri, 2.9 seconds separating Honey Badger in third, Navy in fourth. Honey Badger, by the way, has closed down Afri by about 3 seconds since we last came on board with them, as Gort tries to chase down Sean, P8. This is going to be very close down into turn 1. Gort could be past him here. Gort down the inside in the Universality. Come back to Sean on the Campos, and Sean defends that nicely as Maze just runs a little wide. Back to us now, trying to prioritise the outside run through turn 2 onto turn 3. Not quite enough. Also another battle getting going. Let's grab an old man Barry further down the field. All the action really happening towards the lower half of the grid here, but Spike leading the way, Afri in second, Honey Badger in third. It's going to be interesting to get to see who gets that final 8th position, because they will be starting on pole position coming into the next race, of course, with the top 8 reversed and a 50% sprint race distance, which I think should be averaging at around 7 or 8 laps, I think, for this track, as Maximus still tries to close in on Maze down in towards the kink at turn 9, and then at turn 10 we see Sean right on the back of Taze Leroy. Taze Leroy now coming back to Sean even. Maximus has got past. Taze Leroy not defending this lightly. Sean trying to take the outside line, and Taze Leroy has to defend the inside line and defends it nicely. So the Irishman still ahead of Sean, but the Gort beginning to hunt him down. This is for P7, P8 and P9 out on track. Maximus is now through on Maze as well, so they're now into P10 and 11. Going nicely here, this racing so far. Once on the final lap with the leaders. Gort now trying to go around the outside line into 14. Not quite, but he will have the better run out of the final corner. Honey Badger picks up a 3-second time, believe, for corner cutting. As now they edge up towards the pit wall here. Taze Leroy, this is going to be a bit of a box manoeuvre here for Gort. He's trying to get past. He's going to have to be forced down the inside line here. 3 wide going down towards turn 1. Battle of who's best on the brakes. Bit of contact, everyone clean though through there, and Sean somehow defends enough Taze Leroy, and somehow actually he's got past him. So Sean has got past Taze Leroy for 7th and 8th. Gort, the unlucky one there, had the door shut on him, but 3 wide, and that is how you drive 3 wide at turn 1, because that was brilliant. Sean now ahead of Taze Leroy into P7, Gort missing out, could have had a double overtake, but now has to settle possibly for P9. There's only one real opportunist, 2-3 opportunities maybe, as we are getting towards the end of the lap. Spike is coming through turn 13. He's going to be taking it out on track, as Taze Leroy still on the back of Sean. We'll come on board with Spike as soon as we can, and I think we'll come on board with him now, because Taze Leroy just makes a slight mistake. So Spike now coming through the final corner. The season 5 round 1 opener, the feature race opener here, is going to go to Spike. Brilliant win by the Brit. Fireworks go off in the air, so he gets the win. Afri finishes in 2nd. Watch out for the penalties though, could be added on. Honey Badger has got 3 seconds, so I think they're going to stay as they are. So Spike wins, Afri 2nd. Honey Badger has got a 5-second time, can be added on. Will Navy pick up the podium? Yes, he will. Flying Cooper about to come across the line. Good debut performance there in 5th. Best of the debutants, in fact. Siege in 6th. However, that will change as Sean and Taze Leroy still battle towards the final 2 corners. Gort has dropped out of this. He must have made a mistake somewhere out on track. Are we going to get side by side across the line? He's going to take it. It's just Sean by 600ths of a second. Brilliant action there. Taze Leroy unlucky. Could have been wanting the straight a little bit longer. Maximus in 9th. Maze in 10th. Gort in 11th. S. Graham coming across the line in 12th. Fullman Barry coming across the line in 13th. We're going to wait a little bit longer for Andy and Alan Kay to finish, but 15 finishes in what has been a fantastic opening round feature race, and we've still got one more race to come, of course, in the sprint race. Spike takes it though out on track as we wait for Andy and Alan Kay to come across the line in P14 and 15. Very unlucky on Taze Leroy, but I think Taze Leroy definitely wouldn't have imagined them to be starting pole position next time around, because the top 8, of course, do get reversed. Andy across the line in 14th, the Scotsman. Good debut performance from him. And Alan Kay about to come across the line in 15th. Of course, Andy participated last season, we've got to say. As the Formula 1 theme goes off in the background, Alan Kay picking up 15th place there, but it is Spike who takes round 1 here at Sakia. So as the podium celebrations now begin, it is the Brit Spike who takes it out on track. And of course, if you are wanting to participate in the sprint race, stay in the lobby. Stay in the lobby, because the sprint race is going to be even better than the feature race, trust me. Short, sharp, snappy racing here in TTL F2. But the Brit Spike takes the first round of the championship and gets revenge pretty much on last season. A Siege took the title. But as we see the full one down on the grid any second now. Any second now, there we go. Spike takes the victory here with Afri in second. He doesn't get 2 points for the fastest lap, he gets 1 point for the fastest lap, does Spike. So 26 points there. Afri in second, Navy in third, jumps Honey Badger on penalties, and that's by about 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds there. Siege in fifth, running off the top 5 with Flying Cooper. Good debut performance from him in sixth, regardless of his penalties. Sean in 7th, Taze Leroy, another good debutant there in 8th. Maximus in 9th, Mays filling out the top 10, final point scoring position. Gorton 11th, but S. Graham in 12th, Ulman Barry in 13th, Andy in 14th, Alan Kay in 15th. Grizzly Bear and Jeffrey didn't finish, and Jeffrey continuing on his bad run of form from the end of last season with his plenty full of DNFs. Hopefully he can change that form around to be coming to the sprint race here for round 2 of the championship. We are straight in, no change in the lobby or anything like that. Yes, we are getting straight back into the action here in TTL F2, and it is the sprint race. I will have a look at your comments now. Of course, hopefully you did enjoy that first race, and hopefully you've been enjoying the commentary so far here tonight. Daniel Williams coming in and saying, way slow for me. Way slow for you. You never know, it could be a better second race. That's what you got to think. Could be a much better second race. Keep on going. There's no mandatory pit stops, so anything could happen in front, and you never know, you could be there to pick up the pieces. That's the best piece of advice I can probably give there. But 10 seconds to go until the start of this second round. I think we will have the formation lap on once again. As we get straight into it, I'm not sure. This is all new for me as well. Yeah, we're going to have the formation lap once again. So the formation lap now begins. 12 laps of Bahrain, of the Sakia International Circuit, to go around once again. And everyone being boring and going on for a set of medium compound of tyres. And Grizzly Bear, the only one to go on a set of soft compound of tyres. So that pretty much makes my job a little bit easier to explain. Everyone else is on the medium compound of tyres. So really, essentially, of course, there's no mandatory pit stops, so these guys will be hoping to go 12 laps on a set of mediums. They should be able to manage that quite easily. We did see some of that in the first race, as Taze Leroy goes massively wide there. And it is going to be very interesting because the top 8 have been reversed. So Taze Leroy now on pole position, Sean in 2nd, Flying Cooper in 3rd, Siege in 4th, Honey Badger in 5th, Navy in 6th, Afri in 7th, and Spike in 8th. They, of course, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th reversed last time around. Maximus in 9th, and Mays in 10th, with Gort in 11th, S. Graham in 12th, Ulman Barry in 13th, Andy in 14th, Alan Kay in 15th, Grizzly Bear in 16th, and Jeffrey in 17th position. And Grizzly Bear might struggle to get those tyres home. Of course, we did see those soft runners from the first race come in at around lap 7, lap 8 sort of area. Grizzly Bear will be hoping that his tyre management is on point, because he will be trying to manage those tyres right to the end of the race. It shouldn't be too bad with it being a sprint race. Taze Leroy is going to be setting them off. We're coming towards the end of the formation lap here in Bahrain. I just want to check up on anything that is happening in the PSN chat. I've got PSN messages right here. So just see if there's any reaction that has happened after that first race. Everyone saying, might just be me, but Sean wasn't on the grid, and that is Flying Cooper saying that. So I'm afraid that was a bit of a desync going on. Gort saying nice race, and Sean saying cheers mate, sorry for the tap, and Afri saying GG Sean, I should have gone for the medium to soft strategy too. So the German ruined a little bit of bad luck there with his strategy, but he is starting in 7th position. It's not going to be too bad, and we are going to get going here for round 2, the first sprint race in TTL F2 history. Yes, I know, first race in TTL F2 history, the first sprint race even in TTL F2 history. Fantastic. Everyone gearing up. You can see the crowd is absolutely geared up here for the start of this race. Controller wasn't working for a minute there, but we are about to get going for 5 red lights here for the sprint race for round 2 in Sakia. Lights down, away we go. What's the start like? Sean gets a very good start. Very good start though by Siege. Could have them all down in towards turn 1. Brilliant start by Siege. He's going to try and take the pit lane down in towards turn 1, and Siege should have this move down into turn 1. Little bit of a contact moment there. I think it was Taze Leroy and Sean having a bit of contact. Taze Leroy still defends, and a bit of a desync goes on once again between Flying Cooper and Sean. Hopefully the connections will be fixed out. Afri's already up to 4th position, so he's getting 3 positions. Could get more. I think it's Sean actually who's lost his left side end plate. It is Sean who has lost his left side end plate, so that's why we saw the contact earlier on. Oh man, Barry dropping down the field, and there's been a spinner. Flying Cooper has been spun, but a lot of desync going on there. That was clearly coming from my end, as Honey Badger and S. Graham have been caught up in something as well, so they're already out the race. So Flying Cooper, S. Graham out the race. Jeffrey is spun as well further down the field. I think it's been one of those unlucky moments. I think Sean, S. Graham, sorry, trying to get out the way of Flying Cooper, and a bit of contact there with Navy. The sprint race, you've got to drive the sprint race like you do the feature race, clean and competitive. You can't be dropping the standards here. But it's Taze Leroy leading the way, Sean in 2nd, Afri in 3rd, with Spike now in 4th. Let's see what the jumpers are like early on. Of course, not cold weather jumpers, as I've alluded to, as Afri goes all the way around the outside of Sean at turn 12. That is brave stuff. Fantastic move by the German, all the way around the outside. That is one of the moves of the season so far. That is brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Afri up to P2. What a move round the outside. Taze Leroy still hanging on out there out in front. Afri in 2nd, Sean in 3rd, Spike in 4th, with Siege in 5th, Navy in 6th. These 6 just beginning to pull away now from Maze, who's up to 7th, Maximus in 8th, Oman Barry at 9th. Honey Badger will be ruining this look down now in P14. Taze Leroy sets a new fastest lap for the race, and Honey Badger, of course, has lost 9 positions. If you see side-by-side action, it's Maximus and Maze down into turn 1. Maze holds the outside line and gets the move done. So Maze into P7 and holds Maximus off for now. And all that Barry, his teammate, is all over the back of him here. Both of them, of course, in the Sauber Junior Charu cars. Be racing, I think, for themselves, to be honest. And all my Andy is through on Grizzly Bear. Bit of contact there, but Andy is through on Grizzly Bear. Oh, and Andy is spun. Not sure if there was a bit of contact there on the back end. Difficult to see from that angle. I think Jeffrey is struggling now at the back of the field, but Taze Leroy leading the way still, 0.3 of a second. Afri all over the back of him. Spike trying to get past Sean in the background of shot. They come through towards turn 10. Honey Badger has retired from the session as well, and Sean is out wide at turn 10. The Spike is through on P3, and Afri trying to go all the way around the outside now of Taze Leroy. Taze Leroy now defending the outside line as they come through turn 12, and Afri has got that move done. He's got the inside line, he's got the move done. So Afri now into the lead of the race. I will just unplug my mic and plug it back in so I can hear it crackling in the background as Maze and Maximus defend off each other once again. Right, that should have fixed things. Should be back. As Siege tries to close in on Sean, they go side by side down into turn 14. Siege and Navy looking good. Siege gets the run off the corner, just about a car width ahead. Sean fighting him side by side down the straight. Navy in behind as well. We'll take this from his perspective actually, and Navy closing in. Could be 3 wide once again into turn 1. Sean, Navy and Navy, Siege and Sean going around the outside. Siege gets a position off Navy. Navy trying to lose 2 positions here possibly. As that, sorry, Navy trying to get in 2 positions actually. Sean losing 2 positions. Taze Leroy now defending off Spike. Spike now down the inside line of Taze Leroy. As everything is just kicking off. Navy ran the outside of Sean, gets that move done. He's up to P5, just loses the back end slightly. As Spike and Taze Leroy battle once again. A little bit of contact made between them both. Still side by side. They've got to give each other a lot of respect here and make sure it keeps on being clean racing. That's what we like to see. Spike up the inside of Taze Leroy. But Taze Leroy, I think, is going to come back down the inside. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. It's Jeffrey once again who has spun. As Taze Leroy, again, that's the 3rd time that has happened tonight. Taze Leroy and Spike respectively gives him essentially the dirty finger of Formula 1 racing there. Yeah, not great racing there by Taze Leroy. I've got to admit, from my own perspective, it's not great racing, and it's not great for you guys as the viewers to be watching as well. I'll have a word with him after the race, of course. Navy trying to close in on Sean. So for P5 and P6, of course, there was a 3-way battle. Siege has got away and is now closing in on Taze Leroy, who, of course, will be getting a stern talking to from myself after this race. Navy trying to close in on Sean once again. Siege closing in on Taze Leroy. We're right on board with these two, actually. The Irishman now defending off the inside line, but Siege, look at the run he's got. Leroy trying to force him all the way down the pit lane. A bit of lag going on there. So Siege has got the move done. Taze Leroy shouldn't go down the inside here, and he hasn't. And Navy, and Sean is back down the inside on Navy. Navy all the way around the outside line and keeps their position. Brilliant move there by Navy. Ran the outside. Great as Taze Leroy tries to defend of Siege, but Siege not having any of this. He's defending the inside line. Taze Leroy going all the way around the outside. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1 once again. I'm not sure who that might be, as Taze Leroy is just sending them all the way around the outside of Siege. And he is up to P3 once again. It's the Irishman making mincemeat there, I've got to say, of Siege. Taze Leroy through with a nice clean move. That's what we like to be seeing from him. And he's up to P3. Siege down into P4. But after he's got the lead, 1.4 seconds from Spike in second. Taze Leroy in third, with Siege in 4th position. Navy in 5th, with Sean in 6th, Maze in 7th, Maximus in 8th, Galt in 9th, and Old Man Barry filling out the top 10 positions. 15, 12 and 10 for the top 3 here tonight. Of course, it is the sprint race. No pit stops do have to be made. Taze Leroy lagging here. The Siege now tries to send it all the way around the outside of him. He's on the inside line here, coming through turn 12, and he should have the move done, but Taze Leroy giving this up lightly. But Siege keeps on fighting, and he's got the move done once again. Taze Leroy gets a better run out. It's going to be side by side. Jumps back into the slipstream. Siege trying to utilise the speed to great effect here, as Taze Leroy once again tries to eye up the move. As Maximus and Maze now go side by side for P7 and P8 out on track. Again, apologies about my mic. I'm going to have to fix this again. Right, there we go. That should be fixed now. That should be fixed now. I do apologise for being coming a bit like a Dalek. But Siege all the way around the outside of Taze Leroy. Grizzly Bear is out of the race once again. More battling happening here out on track. Taze Leroy and Siege. 3rd and 4th. Siege now defends the inside line. Taze Leroy coming across. Doesn't want to be coming across too much. Siege back down the inside line. Got to give him respect. Taze Leroy all the way around the outside, trying to defend it. Maximus is through on Maze, by the way. So Maximus is through up to P7 on Maze. Alan K and the Gort fighting for that final point scoring position. Of course, worthwhile point, and the Gort is actually, I'm not sure if he's had contact there, but he's round in Sector 1. That is round at Sector 1, and Siege defends off Taze Leroy nicely. It's bringing Navy into play. It could bring Sean into play as well. This is really hotting up into a nice race, this. Afri leads, 2 seconds the gap, and Spike in 2nd, Siege in 3rd, Taze Leroy in 4th, and Navy in 5th position. Game put me on 62% worn tyres after that pit stop, says Jeffrey, which is not great at all. It's definitely not great at all. In fact, that might be Honey Badger. I do apologise if you are Honey Badger. Get my Dutchman mixed up there. But Afri leads the way. 1.9 seconds the gap. That gap has stabilised. Spike in 2nd still, with Siege in 3rd. Taze Leroy in 4th. But the main gainer out of these top 5, I think, is Navy. Now closing in on Taze Leroy. Going to try and get the move done down the inside of turn 14. Tries to prioritise the run-off. He's just run off the curb slightly, which is not going to give him the greatest run off the corner. After with the new fastest lap, of course, another point. Get that along for the fastest lap of the race. So even if you are at the back like Gort is, you could go for the fastest lap and get yourself an extra point. Navy not opting to go for the move around the outside there. Sean trying to close in on this as well. 1.9 seconds between Navy and Sean at this stage, and we are halfway through in the TTL F2 race, and now Navy going down on the inside line. Caught Taze Leroy napping there, and Navy is through. Taze Leroy, a little bit of contact made, and a little bit of contact. I think Taze Leroy trying to turn in there on Navy, thought he'd try to get the move done, and now Sean is through retrospectively. So Sean now through into P5, Navy up to P4, and Taze Leroy down 2 positions after that spin. As again he tries to go for the dive bomb down the inside on Sean. It's not really great racing to see people dive bombing it constantly down the inside, I've got to say. Don't go for the dive bomb. Try and get it done impressive. Try and get the move done cleanly. Sean and Taze Leroy once again. Pretty much side by side. Sean gives him a bit of a knock there. Taze Leroy's not going to like that. Are we going to see a dive bomb down the inside once again? Yes, we are. Taze Leroy gets the move done. And Sean, I think, with left side and end plate damage, remember, he did pick up that on lap 1, so that's probably why they are beginning to fight, and Taze Leroy is now through. He's up to P5. There is a yellow flag in sector 2. I think it might be Alan Kay who was spun, and Taze Leroy goes massively wide, nearly off to Saudi Arabia there. But Sean now on the inside line, by every means right to have the inside line here. Taze Leroy again defending a little bit too aggressively for my liking. It gets the move done though and comes straight back across Sean. It's not really great to see. Honey Badger's left the session. Sean right in the slipstream. Lap 7 out of 12. After he still leads the way, Spike in second, Siege in third. As Sean tries to opt for the move down the inside. I think Sean being a little bit clever there. Taze Leroy losing control of the car. Will try and prioritise the run here. And again a little bit of banging wheels. Once again by Taze Leroy. Sean has got the move done cleanly and fairly, and Taze Leroy trying to battle around the outside, gives him a bit of a tap, and I think now that should be the end of it, because Sean has pulled away after that contact moment there with Taze Leroy. Sean is now through and he's up to P5. And goodness for that. Ulman Barry closing in then on Maze. As Taze Leroy is off in the background, heavy hit there into the wall pretty much, and Taze Leroy's chances possibly getting a win here are fading very quickly indeed. But in the meantime, Navy closing in on Siege. Battle for P3 out here. Of course, they still score 10 points out on track. And the point scoring system for TTL F2, the sprint race, is 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 and 1. Those are the point scoring positions. I think I've got myself a little bit mixed up there. That's 8 positions. 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do apologise. That's my maths failing me there. But that is the point scoring system for TTL F2. And Andy currently in that final point scoring position. There is a yellow flag in sector 3. And who was that yellow flag at sector 3? I think that might have been Taze Leroy. It might have been. He's just lost 1.2 seconds there. But that leads the way. Spike, though, closing him in. 1.4 seconds out on track. So after leading the way, Spike in second, Siege in third, Navy in fourth. Again, these two getting quite close to each other. Because everyone is pretty much spread out, I will have a look at the penalties very shortly indeed. I don't think we've seen many penalties from drivers out on track, but we'll have a look anyways. Afri with a warning, Spike with nothing, Siege with nothing, Navy with 2 warnings, Sean with 2 warnings, Maximus with a warning, Maze with nothing, Ulman Barry with a penalty, Taze Leroy with 2 warnings, Andy with nothing, Jeffrey with nothing, the Gort with 2 warnings, and Alan Kay with 2 warnings. They're the ones that are still going around out on track. We've lost Grizzly Bear, Honey Badger, Flying Cooper and S. Graham all out of the race. So not many penalties to really write home about, which is good to see, as Ulman Barry gets caught up on the outside of into turn 10 that was, and he's lost the ground to Maze. He'll try and come back at him very shortly indeed. Maximus has gone past Maze, he's now beginning to hunt down Sean. So Sean and Maze, of course, not in the same team, I don't think. In the Campos for Sean, Univirtuosi for Maze, of course, formerly known as Russian Time. There's a yellow flag in sector 2, and Andy is round. That is at turn 10. Andy is round the Scotsman, losing possibly out on that final point scoring position. I think he's got left side end plate damage as well. He's not going to have to hobble it back to the pits because that's just costly. Left side end plate damage indeed for Andy. He could come back into the pits, try and set the fastest lap of the race. But he could try and defend off Gordon and K. I think the best thing to do possibly will be to keep on going possibly out on track. Try and defend the positions. Maximus in the meantime on the back of Sean. Sean just overcooking the corner a little bit. Maximus now on the outside line. Sean with that front wing damage now really beginning to tell. And this is why Maximus is so close to him. 1.5 tenths separating. Taze Leroy has decided to retire in the pit lane. So Taze Leroy has retired in the pits. So that now brings Andy back into that point scoring positions. We see side by side action here between Sean and Maximus. P5 and P6 out on track. 6/10 of a second, 600th of a second coming through the S section of turns 5, 6 and 7. 6, 7 and 8. Taze Leroy has left the session. Now through turn 8 that is. Jeffrey has been overtaken as well. There's a slight moment there and Andy is through. So Andy is back into P9. Jeffrey back down to P10. There's only real 2 groups of battling happening out on track. Sean and Maximus, Andy, Jeffrey and Gort pretty much out on track. Alan Kay could be within a flavour of a couple of points there actually. After his earlier spin, he is within reach I think. If anything happens with Andy and concertinas these guys up a little bit, of course we will be seeing that come to fruition very soon, possibly for Alan Kay. As the Gort closes in on Jeffrey, this is down into turn 10. We've got 3 laps to go. Afri still leads the way. Spike in second, Siege in third, Navy in fourth. No changes really to the order there. Everything has really changed from 5th downwards once again. Sean and Maximus better come across the start-finish line to start lap 10. Sean and Maximus, 4/10 of a second separating. Maximus will get very close here to the back of Sean. Not opting to go within the dirty air and take the slipstream line. He is going to try and think about the outside line into turn 1 though. Maximus thinks about it. Tries to prioritise the run on Sean down the inside at turn 2. Not quite. Now through turn 3. The DRS will be enabled, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. Maximus, I don't think he's going to be close enough. I don't think he will be. Oh, there's a little bit of contact going on there. A little bit of lag between Andy, Jeffrey and Gort. Very close battling now. The Gort just weaved slightly. Not sure if there was a bit of a cut-off moment going on there. We caught on board with that quite late. But Jeffrey closing in on Andy. Oh, dives it down the inside on Andy. Down the inside. Brilliant stuff by Jeffrey if he can pull off this move. And he does. Brilliant stuff. Andy with the front wing damage, of course. That left side end plate not really affecting him as much. But Jeffrey has just sailed it. Absolutely sailed it. Down the inside of turn 1. Got the move done on the outside of turn 2. Fantastic stuff. And Gort now trying to come in on the action once again. So Gort now down the inside gets Andy for the final point scoring position. Of course, penalties will be able to change the order here out on track. Afri 5.9 seconds out in front. And how is that 5.9 seconds? I think Spike's had a moment somewhere out on track. And I have a feeling it might have been out at turn 12 on the curb. Sean is now getting overtaken by Maximus. Maximus with a better run. Close it in. Maze and Allman Barry are getting involved in this as well. It's a 4-way battle for P5 and P6 out on track. Maximus now down the inside line on Sean. They're going to be running side by side now across the line to start the penultimate lap of the race. It's Afri who leads the way. Spike in second, Siege in third, Nevi in fourth, Sean and Maximus. Sean with a better speed. Maximus with no DRS. Trying to get the inside line once again into turn 1. Sean will prioritise the run into turn 1. Maximus all the way around the outside of turn 2. They come into contact a little bit of banging wheels, but Sean gets the better run. Mays is involved in this as well. We're going to see 3 wide into turn 4. Mays trying to go all the way around the outside, a little bit of contact. Very difficult to go 3 wide through there, but it's all relatively clean between them all. Fantastic stuff. As Mays around the outside of Maximus. Oh, a little bit of contact. I think Maximus there just getting caught up on the curb. Might have just came into that a little bit. I don't think Mays did anything wrong. Pure racing incident, I think, there. Maximus getting caught up on the inside curb. Not having the best run, and Mays would have had that move done anyways. But Maximus has spun out, and he's now in P8. It might be a lonely race for him towards the end of the race here. Mays, I don't think, did anything wrong there. But Afri still leads the way. Spike in second. Hunted down now by Siege. 7/10 of a second. Separating as we come on towards the final lap now, and Afri is about to start that final lap now. Pretty good timing there. So Afri, the German, about to start the final lap of the race, and what could be a very good weekend for him indeed. Of course, beaten in the earlier race by Spike, with the change, of course, to the strategy. Spike, of course, outdoing them strategy-wise. So Spike and Afri could be very close. They might be on even points, actually, coming into round 3 next week, of course. We'll come on board with that. Well, round 2 of the championship will be round 3 if you're trying to keep up with the amount of races we're having. There's 11 rounds in this championship. I do believe we've got 22 races for you, so we've already got 2 done tonight. Gort trying to chase down Jeffrey though. Final 2 point scoring positions here. I think they look relatively comfortable, to be honest, for these positions. Gort now down the inside line. DRS enabled. Got the inside line. Jeffrey coming back at him down the inside line though. Ooh, a little bit of an outbreak there from the Dutchman, and I think he lets him through very nicely there. So Jeffrey back down to P10, Gort through to P9. I think the Gort would have had the move done. Jeffrey sending it a little bit aggressively down the inside, but if you don't try, you don't succeed. That is the motto I think we can go by. Afri, sprint race pretty much over as a flash. Afri now coming through the final corner to pick up a well-deserved win here tonight in the sprint race. Afri is going to be taking the full 15 points, and the German wins in Sakia. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant win. Spike in second, holds on to the position, I think, from Siege. Yeah, penalty stays, they are. No penalties, in fact, gain for them. Navy across the line in 4th, good race from him. Sean is going to be across the line in 5th, so a nice race from Sean. Mays and Allman Barry trying to hunt him down towards the end of this race. Of course, Sean with that left side end plate damage has managed to finish 5th. Good stuff from him. I think that might change though, because Mays and Allman Barry, yeah, Mays gains position for P5 there, so Sean with the penalties in P6. Allman Barry in P7. Good point score here by the Sauber Junior team by Charoux, of course formerly known as the Charoux team. Maximus going to be coming across the line in 8th for them, so good stuff. Gort's going to be across the line in 9th. Double point scoring finish there for Univertosi, because Mays has also finished in 5th, so Gort across the line in 9th. Jeffrey across the line in 10th. There says they are. Andy is going to be coming across the line in 11th, and Alan Kay, quite unlucky I think in this race, going to be coming across the line in 12th position. Alan Kay comes across the line now. Fireworks light up the night sky here in Sakia, but it is Afri who takes the 2nd round win. The first sprint race in TTL F2 goes to Afri. As we now see the podium celebrations occur, and the German to the top step of the podium. I think it's the first German that is up to the top step of the podium since Sebastian Vettel here in Formula 1. So Afri doing it for the Trident team, and he takes the full 15 points in the sprint race, of course. Point system different from the sprint race compared to the feature race which you saw earlier on. But it is Afri who takes the win here. The Spike in 2nd, and we'll give you the full rundown of the field very shortly indeed. So it is Afri who takes the win, but it is Spike who takes the point scoring position for fastest lap. So he actually reduces that from 3 points. It's actually 3 points, not 2. 2 points, not 1. So 13 points for Spike. That's what I'm trying to get at. Siege in 3rd, Navy in 4th, Mays in 5th, Sean in 6th. Allman Barry from 13th up to 7th. Good result from him. Maximus in 8th, Gort in 9th, Jeffrey in 10th. Scoring a point scoring position. Fantastic for Jeffrey. Andy in 11th, and Alan Kay in 12th position. Tays Leroy, Grizzly Bear, Honey Badger, Flying Cooper and S. Graham. Very unlucky, I've got to say, they've DNF'd out of the race. And of course, any incidents will be forwarded on to the stewards, and I'll be certainly having a look at any video footage that is sent in after tonight's race. But, of course, we do have round 2 of the championship next week, and it should be a fantastic round once again. And thank you to everyone that has raced here tonight in Bahrain for round 1 of the championship. We will see you, of course, for round 2 in TTL F2 next week. Just to check through your comments very late on at the end of the, and I'll also check the PS. That battling was not fun to watch. I honestly agree to an extent on that. I don't think it was fun to watch at all. I think I even mentioned it in commentary. Like some of the dive bombing, it's not really that great. I did issue a warning to people to drive cleanly and competitively out on track, and if that's not obeyed, then how far are you going to get in TTL F2? And especially under my watch, I want the cleanest and I want the most competitive racing as possible out on track, and I'm sure these guys will learn their lessons from next week, whoever they are, and I will be having private words with a few drivers after this race just to get my message across once again. So hopefully that clarifies that. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in to TTL F2. One of my first solo commentaries here in TTL F2, and I've got to say, brilliant racing on the majority, or for the majority of people, and we will of course see you next week. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I've been James Head. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.